This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This daily. And today, let's take a look at the little article that I suggested that I was going to look at today. I thought about doing some other stuff because there has been a bunch of crazy stuff come out with the United Healthcare CEO murder and the suspect for that and all the craziness around the suspect. There's also a thing about Kamala Harris being considered for Time Magazine Person of the Year, which was, it's more, she's on a short list of like a dozen people. So it's not like she's their number one consideration for it. So there was some other stuff, but at the end of the day, this one, especially with some of this stuff that we're seeing and learning about the United Healthcare CEO's assassin. Scrubbing the internet and seeing stuff disappear right in front of your eyes sometimes seemed like it was a little bit more pressing of a matter. So let's pull this up and we'll jump right in. And this is from the Brownstone Institute, written by Jeffrey Tucker and Debbie Lerman. Jeffrey Tucker is very good on a lot of stuff. He's a former lefty that kind of discovered how the whole cancel culture thing works firsthand. And so he's been good on a lot of stuff. I mean, he's still a lefty, but I enjoy a lot of the stuff that Jeffrey Tucker puts out. So they're scrubbing the internet right now. Instances of censorship are growing to the point of normalization. Despite ongoing litigation and more public attention, mainstream social media has been more ferocious in recent months than ever before. Podcasters know for sure what will be instantly deleted and debate amongst themselves over content in gray areas. Some, like Brownstone, have given up on YouTube in favor of Rumble, sacrificing vast audiences if only to see their content survive to see the light of day. And honestly, this is why I stopped putting stuff on YouTube for the better part of a year. It's also why I'm going to change up the way I do stuff coming up in 2025. As I mentioned on today's regular episode, which if you haven't gone and watched that yet, it's up on YouTube and Rumble and on all the podcatchers, and it will be up on Facebook later this afternoon. I'm going to start doing my stuff on Twitter or X for the live daily stuff. It'll go on X, Facebook, and on Rumble, and then I will upload the videos afterwards to YouTube, because then I can control the content that I'm putting on YouTube a little bit more and not catch not end up getting my channel catching strikes and stuff like that. Like, I know what I'll have said. I can go back and edit some stuff out and then upload it to YouTube without having to worry about catching a strike. Hasn't happened in a long time. I've been able to successfully appeal a couple that they tried to strike, but you're always kind of dancing this fine line of, all right, like, is this the one where they decide to just nuke my channel? So yeah, like I said, like after the first of the year, I'm going to start moving all the live stuff will be Rumble, Facebook, and on X, and then this stuff will get uploaded to YouTube instead. But like, for example, the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump racked up an astonishing 34 million views before YouTube and Google tweaked their search engines to make it hard to discover, while even presiding over a technical malfunction that disabled viewing for many people. Faced with this, Rogan went to the platform X to post all 3 hours. Navigating this thicket of censorship and quasi-censorship has become part of the business model for alternative media. Those are just the headline cases. Beneath the headlines, there are technical events taking place that are fundamentally affecting the ability of any historian even to look back and tell what is happening. Incredibly, a service, archive.org, which has been around since 1994, has stopped taking images of content on all platforms. For the first time in 30 years, we have gone a long swath of time since October 8th through 10th, since this service has chronicled the life of the internet in real time. As of this writing, we have no way to verify content that has been posted for 3 weeks of October, leading to the days of the most contentious and consequential election of our lifetimes. Crucially, this is not about partisanship or ideological discrimination. No websites on the internet are being archived in ways that are available to users. In effect, the whole memory of our main information system is just a big black hole right now. The trouble on archive.org began on October 8th, 2024, when the service was suddenly hit with a massive denial of service attack, DDoS, that not only took down the service, but introduced a level of failure that nearly took it out completely. Working around the clock, archive.org came back as a read-only service where it stands today. However, you can only read content that was posted before the attack. The service has yet to resume any public display of mirroring of any sites on the internet. In other words, the only source on the entire World Wide Web that mirrors content in real time has been disabled. For the first time since the invention of the web browser itself, researchers have been robbed of the ability to compare past with future content on action that is a staple of researchers looking into government and corporate actions. It was using this service, for example, that enabled Brownstone researchers to discover precisely what the CDC had said about plexiglass, filtration systems, mail-in ballots, and rental moratoriums. That content was all later scrubbed off the live internet, so accessing archive copies was the only way we could know and verify what was true. It was the same with the World Health Organization and its disparagement of natural immunity, which was later changed. We were able to document the shifting definitions thanks only to this tool, which is now disabled. And that's like one of the most insane things is there are, like, when they say the internet is forever, the internet is forever up until October 8th. And since then, now stuff can be scrubbed without there being a record of it. I had this happen to me personally. I read an article. YouTube removed the episode and gave me a strike. I said I appealed it, and in my appeal I said, look, I didn't say anything. I merely read from a NIH study that was conducted. A study conducted by Dr. Anthony Fauci and some other guy. All I did was read the study. I didn't give any of my own interpretations of it. I just fucking read it. My appeal was denied, and then the website, the web page from NIH disappeared. It was an error 404, page not found. I have half a dozen links saved on my phone that now go to error 404, page not found, of stuff that I've covered on the show. And the reason I cover this stuff the way I do is I pull up the articles and I actually read them. So they're on screen so you can read along with me, so that in the event that these disappear later on, they're still here when I cover them. Shit's just disappearing. And now there's not even an archive of the shit that is being disappeared. What this means is the following. Any website can post anything today and take it down tomorrow and leave no record of what they posted unless some user somewhere happened to take a screenshot. Screenshots are invaluable. Even then, there is no way to verify its authenticity. The standard approach to know who said what and when is now gone. That is to say, the whole internet is already being censored in real time, so that during these crucial weeks, when vast swaths of the public fully expect foul play, anyone in the information industry can get away with anything and not get caught. We know what you're thinking. Surely this DDoS attack was not a coincidence. The time was just too perfect. And maybe that is right. We just do not know. Does archive.org suspect something along those lines? Here's what they say. Last week, along with the DDoS attack and exposure of patron email addresses and encrypted passwords, the Internet Archive's website JavaScript was defaced, leading us to bring the site down to access and improve our security. The stored data of the Internet Archive is safe, and we are working to resume services safely. This new reality requires heightened attention to cybersecurity, and we are responding. We apologize for the impact of these library services being unavailable. Deep State? As with all these, there's no way to know, but the effort to blast away the ability of the Internet to have a verified history fits neatly into the stakeholder model of information distribution that has clearly been prioritized on a global level. The Declaration of the Future of the Internet makes that very clear. The Internet should be governed through the multi-stakeholder approach, whereby governments and relevant authorities partner with academics, social society, the private sector, technical community, and others. All of these stakeholders benefit from the ability to act online without leaving a trace. To be sure, a libertarian at archive.org has written that while the Wayback Machine has been in read-only mode, web crawling and archiving have continued. Those materials will be available via the Wayback Machine as services are secured. When? We don't know. Before the election, 5 years, there might be some technical reasons, but it might seem that if web crawling is continuing behind the scenes, as the note suggests, that too could be available in read-only mode now. It is not. Disturbingly, this erasure of internet memory is happening in more than one place. For many years, Google offered a cached version of the link you were seeking just below the live version. They have plenty of server space to enable that now, but no, that service is now completely gone. In fact, the Google Cache service officially ended just a week or two before archive.org crashed at the end of September 2024. Coincidence? Who knows? Does seem like interesting timing. Also seems interesting that, as Google has been caught manipulating and altering and changing the way searches are, the way that search results are given on their engine, and then they go through with terminating their cache service. It's hard not to look at this stuff and think, yeah, like there's something more sinister at play behind the scenes with the deep state or who knows what. And I hope that the incoming Trump administration and the guy he's putting in charge of the FCC and everything, that they take the gloves off and they just show everything, and they just like let it all be seen, let it all be known. But will that happen again? Who knows? Thus, the two available tools for searching cache pages on the internet disappeared within weeks of each other and within weeks of the November 5th election. Also, other disturbing trends are also turning internet search results increasingly into AI-controlled lists of establishment-approved narratives. The web standard used to be for search results ranked to be governed by user behavior, links, citations, and so forth. These were more or less organic metrics based on an aggregation of data indicating how useful a search result was to internet users. Put very simply, the more people found a search result useful, the higher it would rank. Google now uses a very different metric to rank search results, including what it considers trusted sources, and other opaque subjective determinations. Furthermore, the most widely used service that once ranked websites based on traffic is now gone. That service was called Alexa. The company that created it was independent. Then, one day in 1999, it was bought by Amazon. That seemed encouraging because Amazon was well-heeled. The acquisition seemed to codify the tool that everyone was using as a kind of metric of status on the web. It was common back in the day to take note of an article somewhere on the web and then look it up on Alexa to see its reach. If it was important, one would take notice. But if it was not, no one particularly cared. This is how an entire generation of web technicians functioned. The system worked as well as one could possibly expect. Then in 2014, years after acquiring the ranking service, Alexa, Amazon did a strange thing. It released its home assistant, the surveillance device, with the same name. And suddenly, everyone had them in their homes and would find out anything by saying, "Hey, Alexa." Something seemed strange about Amazon naming its new product after an unrelated business it had acquired years earlier. No doubt there was some confusion caused by the naming overlap. Here's what happened next. In 2022, Amazon actively took down the web ranking tool. It didn't sell it. It didn't raise the prices. It didn't do anything with it. It suddenly made it go completely dark. Gosh, 2022. What might have happened for a couple of years before that might make you want to take something like that down? Gosh, I wonder. Take down a ranking tool that tells people what information, what websites, what data is actually useful and is actually proving to be valuable to people. In the time following when they told everybody to stop doing your own research because the only people that you could trust were the experts. You had to trust the science. You had to trust the experts. Don't do your own research. And then the most commonly used ranking tool for websites where you could do your own research just becomes inactive. Wow. I wonder why something like that would happen, right? Craziness. No one could figure out why. It was the industry standard, and suddenly it was gone. Not sold, just blasted away. No longer could anyone figure out the traffic-based website rankings of anything without paying very high prices for hard-to-use proprietary products. All of these data points that might seem unrelated when considered individually are actually part of a long trajectory that has shifted our information landscape into unrecognizable territory. The COVID events of 2020 through 2023, with massive global censorship and propaganda efforts, greatly escalated these trends. One wonders if anyone will remember what it was once like. The hacking and hobbling of archive.com underscores the point. There will be no more memory. As of this writing, fully 3 weeks of web content have not been archived. What we are missing and what has changed is anyone's guess. And we have no idea when the service will come back. It is entirely possible that it will not come back, that the only real history to which we can take resource will be pre-October 8th, 2024, the date on which everything changed. The internet will require Herculean efforts at this point to restore that vision, because something else is quickly replacing it. All of this is interesting. The timing is interesting. The different pieces, the Alexa, archive, the caches on Google, DuckDuckGo, for those who don't know, DuckDuckGo got bought a couple years ago. So while that was the preferred truth search engine for a lot of people for a number of years, it's compromised as well now. Being able to actually access information is getting harder and harder if you don't know how to find it and where to find it, and what sources can be trusted. And by say what sources, I mean that can be trusted, I don't mean fucking CNN and MSNBC. I mean like the actual information, the actual data, the government websites that tell you the truth and give you the real statistics on this stuff. Understanding how to read that stuff and how to interpret that stuff. All of this stuff is going by the wayside, and it's deliberate. They are actively trying to get rid of it. That's why I keep doing this shit. That's why I try to read this stuff and talk about this stuff and post about this stuff as much as I can, because the only way that we're going to have a record of any of this is if we actually recorded our fucking selves. So hopefully you've been paying attention. Hopefully you're doing something to keep up with what's going on. And screenshots are your best friend. Whether or not you can prove authenticity later on to someone else who says, "Oh, that's photoshopped" or whatever, you know that it's real. I know that it's real. We need to be able to trust the information that we have, and even if you're the only one who can trust it, that might be for the better, honestly. So keep doing your best. Keep keeping up with everything. Keep pushing against the mainstream narrative and push back against the stuff that they're trying to tell us that we should be believing, and keep searching for the truth. That'll do it for today. I will be back. I'll be back this afternoon with Johnny doing Peddling Fiction. But then I will also be back tomorrow morning with another one of these dailies. I'll actually go and put the link to this in the comments everywhere once I get done, so that if you are interested in this particular article itself, you got the link for it and you can check it out. That'll do it for today. Later.